Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boleyn Lounge. I'm Jeff, joined tonight by Mick, and this is another Tuesday talk show. Tonight, we're going to talk about our game against Sunderland and obviously get involved with you guys in the live chat. Thanks for joining us. How's your week been, Mick?
Yeah, pretty good, Jeff. Pretty hectic at work as always, but good weekend with Tommy at Celtic this weekend. Won 8-0. Tommy scored 4, got man of the match. So yeah, all in all, good weekend.
Yeah, superb. Did you watch the game this week?
I did.
Superb. That's good then. That'll help me not have to use my notes quite so much. I mean, Nuno, unchanged 11. I speculated on our walk and talk videos that I hope some of you guys have been getting involved in, but I wish a few more of you would. Please check that out. I'm going to schedule them for about 4 o'clock on a Friday. So yeah, please get in talk. But I speculated would he bring Jiff straight back into the side? Basically, a lot of that was based on the fact that he did exactly that with Wan-Bissaka. But he's decided to stick with Scholes, and he had a good game.
Are you talking to me here, or are you just pausing?
Just generally, just pausing. I had to scroll down from my notes. First couple of minutes, Sunderland forced a save from Areola, and a few people around me saying what a great save it was. But for me, he's got to save that. I think it's got to be saved, but he needs to save it. If he gets beat by that, we are in trouble. Goes out, they have a corner, but after about 5 minutes, I thought we started to impose ourselves on the game, and quarter of an hour in, Somerville gets the opener. We continue to dominate the whole of the first half in a way that I haven't seen at home for sure in a long time, and we did similar to Spurs last week, but we haven't done that. I don't even know if I can remember the last time we played like that at home. Scholes won a penalty. Bowen tucks it away. I didn't realise that he slipped, but I saw on the replays that he did. So he did well to tuck that away. And Fernandez scores an absolute cracker just before half time. I've seen some views that we held back and sat behind the ball in the second half. I don't quite see it that way. I thought, certainly for an hour, I thought we controlled the game really well. I thought we played some nice stuff first part of the second half. And I thought their goal came out of nothing really. On another day, Scholes might do a little bit better. He sort of went to ground and didn't quite get to the ball, and Todibo got sucked out of position and was dragged over out of position there, and ball comes in a little easily, and Brovary scores with a free header. I think we probably did let them come into the game a little bit from there on, and 70th minute, Wilson comes on for Pablo. I think that was needed. Pablo was definitely looking tired, I thought. Jiff came on for Scholes. 75 minutes, Tat is replaced by Potts, shored up midfield a little bit, although it didn't really. They still kind of came on to us, but we see the game out. 93rd minute, Kilman comes on, and there's a few boos around me for Kilman coming on, and I have to say, I don't know about that. I know he's not the most popular, and I know he's liable to make mistakes. But I mean, it's the 93rd minute. He's making a substitution. See the game out. It's 3-1. I don't think we need to get on at our players in that way. But I mean, I'd be interested. That's my quick summary of the game, and Sure, you guys in the chat will get involved whether you agree or disagree with me. You will make your views known. But what's your thoughts on it, Nick? Do you see it a bit differently to that, or are you happy to go along with most of it?
I'll go along with most of it. Just by the way, Jeff, I won't be able to see the chat on this device. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you'll
no
have to
problem.
read out everything again.
Yeah,
So I won't be
sure.
able to keep up with it. Yeah, the thing with Pablo and coming off, and Potts coming on. Yeah, the thing. I don't know whether people could hear me the last time was on a couple of weeks ago. I said, will he go to a 4-4-2? Which I have said for quite a while. That's what West Ham need to do. But he obviously didn't really perhaps have the players to do that. But once they come off, obviously it allows, because they don't over press. Actually, they're pressing. I thought Tati, the first time I seen him, I thought, you one lazy so and so. I didn't like the way he was playing. I didn't like his positions he was taking up. But I have to say, the work rate they do just in front of the defence is a massive improvement. It's obviously, if you notice, Bowen isn't playing an auxiliary right back anymore. So yeah, I think they have made a difference them too. And yeah, if you're going to go to the system that he finished with, that will happen, because the reason we're getting up the pitch is because of them too. Yeah,
Yeah, got a bit more
Pablo,
isolated, didn't we?
yeah,
Wilson came
yeah,
on, and then he ended up sort of leading the line on his own, and he got a bit isolated, and it kind of brought them on,
yeah.
and it sort of drives home the point what you're saying about if nothing else, the work rate of those two guys, what they bring for the team effort, it makes a difference to us, doesn't it?
Well, it gets us up the pitch. It takes you 10, 15 yards further up the pitch, which is, that gives the springboard for Bowen and Somerville and players like that to actually do what they're good at, rather than coming from too deep. So, yeah, overall, what you say, can't really. The goal was poor again. I thought I think the goal was really, really poor to have someone 6 yards from the goal line, and when you say a free header. Yeah, he had the freedom of the stadium there. It's like that is our problem. Do you know what I mean? Mav is doing all right actually at the moment, along with Tobido. And then it's the same old thing when we get a far post cross again. Wan-Bissaka is always weak there. Like he's if you look at the goal, you can see that the far post. People used to moan about Sufal for that. I think Wan-Bissaka's worse at that. I
Gets
just
caught
don't
out
think
a
he
lot.
gets up. He doesn't get in the air. If it's in the air, it's on the ground. He's as good as you get. But when it's in the air and he's got to come in and make a challenge, these challenges are poor. He doesn't get up. Doesn't get in the right position. So between him and Mav, they just left him. So poor goal. But let's not sit here and rubbish the performance, because it wasn't. It was a joy to watch, to be honest. Yeah, it's nice
Yeah,
to
yeah.
watch West Ham feel that you're competing, against a very good sides. The league table would tell you. Yeah. So overall, we've done well.
Yeah, I think Xhaka was a big miss for them, but and you could argue that they were a little bit off colour on the day. But I mean, I thought we played really, really well. I don't want to take too much away from the lads and their performance, because yeah, it was good. I was going to
You
say
could
hello
go
to the
back
chat.
to Arsenal, Man City, couldn't you? Like Man United, Man City last week, not this weekend. Weekend before, City are off colour, and then they go to Arsenal and do the same to them. So,
Yeah,
let's hope that Saturday this weekend we could do the same. Just keep that
God,
going.
please,
Yeah.
God. Happy Emirates in. Happy, thanks for joining us. Good to see you, says Ralph. And Words is in. Thanks for joining us, Words. Good to see you again, mate. He says, lounging here, drinking my salted hot chocolate. Toga's in. He says, evening, Jeff. Hello, H8. Words and pictures. Jeff doing a still. Yeah, I was a little bit late. Mick messaged me right on the dot of starting to WhatsApp him a link, because he couldn't get on with his computer, so it did delay me a couple of minutes.
Again.
Yeah. And Word says good evening to Happy. Colin Jones is in. He says, good evening to everyone. And the guys are just saying hello to each other there. And I'll just display their comments. Try and work my way down. Tog says, good evening to you. Ian's in. He says, good evening to everyone. Word says, good evening to you as well. Word says, excellent connection, Mick. Good to hear you clearly. So glad everyone in the chat can hear you.
I thought you'd be glad not to hear me, but there you go.
No, oh, you've changed your top, have you?
No.
Oh, okay. Happy says, we were on fire against Sunderland. What a buzz to win 2 back-to-back league games. Fernandez is the bollocks. What a young talent we have there. Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely, second week in a row, he was man of the match for me. I thought he was superb. His goal was wonderful.
Oh, you won't see it. You go on, sorry, Jeff.
Words just saying, nice recap from HH. Carry on, mate.
No, you won't see a better strike than that all season. You'll see similar, but you won't see better. Yeah, I mean, it was a great strike. He's a good young player, and the thing he's benefited from is his time at Southampton when they struggled, what have you. Yeah, and he learnt the game the hard way. Yeah, and that's probably puts him a little bit above Potsy, that, because he's got that bit of Premier League experience that Potts hasn't got yet. But Potts will thrive going forward, and we'll have two, and Magasser as well. Magasser seems to be a forgotten man at the moment. It wasn't that many games ago. I forget who we beat now. One of our few wins. He scored the winner at the end, and he was man of the match.
Fantastic up at Man United, wasn't he?
Yeah, was it Man United? Was it
away
a
draw?
to
Old Trafford? It was a draw, but he was fantastic that night up there.
And he's kind of a bit of a forgotten man at the moment, which I don't like to see. Because another young talent.
Suffering with a knock, I think, Mick. So I don't know what his status is. So hopefully we'll see him back in and around the team soon.
But when you look at that young talent there, unfortunately, it's going to be plying its trade in the championship. I still feel next year, as much as we will hope it might, but I can't. You probably discussed that last week, I'm sure. But I just
got excited when we won this weekend, and I was really looking forward to the results. I was looking forward to Brentford beating Forest and maintaining the 2-point gap, and then
that was a sickener. It was a sickener. It's probably the worst Brentford have played all season.
I sat and watched that game. It's like 2 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Right.
I could not believe how bad Brentford were, how wasteful they were. Forest goal, when their opener, it wasn't dissimilar to the goal we conceded against Sunderland. It kind of came out of nothing. Brentford were up in their box actually, and then they broke away. Lovely finish from that Igor, I have to say. That was the only bit of quality I think in the whole fucking game was his finish.
Yeah, but first goal of the season, Jeff, as well. That's what killed him.
And then he won you with his breakaway goal, and I mean that was fucking comical. The way the goalkeeper sat down and the defender was fucking diving in, and I was absolutely gutted about that. And then Leeds last night, well, fucking hell, they tore Everton a new one in the first half, didn't they?
Yeah, Leeds aren't even in the conversation for me. I don't know if I'm going off track here, Jeff. But your Leeds aren't in the conversation for me. And if I'm being honest, I didn't ever feel they were. The only team that are in free fall, but they're 8 points ahead of us. I think there might be. I think Leeds are Leeds 8 or 9. I can't remember now.
Leeds are 6 points ahead of us.
Oh, 6. Yeah. Well, in front of it. Yeah. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, it's Crystal Palace are 8. Haven't won a game in 12.
Yeah, no, they're our hope, aren't they?
I don't think West Ham can get to 40 points. I think the best, having looked at the fixtures, is 38. Yeah. So I don't know if that'd be enough to keep us up. So I can't see us getting 40 points. And as we know from being long West Ham fans, West Ham had 42 points. I forget what year it was when Trevor was manager, and we
Yeah,
still went down. So, was that 2003 or 4? Was it something like that?
yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere
So,
around there.
yeah. Well, we went down with the highest amount of points ever in the Premier League. We still hold that record. So, sort of gripping on to 38 points. Can't see it myself. Be gutted, but it is what it is. Can't do nothing about
Yeah.
it. On a talk show, can we?
No, Terence Knowles is in. He says, "Evening, gents. Evening, Terence. Thanks for coming in, mate." He says, "Got to say, feeling better about the Hammers. Great win over the Black Cats. We seem to be playing with a purpose, with a half decent defence for once." And yeah, I mean, the goal aside, which, like you say, you think it was. I think Tadibo gets dragged right out. I don't think there's any need for him to be out there. So Scarles, I'm not picking on him. I think he had a really good game actually. Just think on another day he might do a little bit better with that tackle. He sat down a little bit easy. Ian says best performance of the season for me. Sometimes there is nothing wrong with an old-fashioned 4-4-2, is there? I wonder if he's going to, and Tox is quite right. I wonder if he's going to stick with that this weekend. Colin
Against
Chilvers is
Chelsea.
in. Yeah.
Hello,
Colin,
Cole.
he says, good evening. And to be fair to Colin, he's been saying for a few weeks now that Palace are the team that are going to get dragged into it. And I'll be honest with you, I thought they were having a blip and I thought they would probably pick themselves back up. But they don't look much like doing that, do they? So they might be our only hope. Them and Spurs. I mean, Spurs' next 4 games are absolutely atrocious, but I don't know. You can't see it happening to Spurs, can you? He says, "Good evening, Jeff and Mick, you wonderful gentlemen. Great win.
Hi, Cole.
I think Paco Gemes is the person who is influencing the way we are playing and also the formation we are playing. What do you think, gents?" Yeah, I've been thinking about this. I'll be honest because I've heard quite a lot of credit being given to Paco over this, and he's the complete reason why we're playing the way we are. And I don't know, he's the attacking coach that's come in, and there's been an improvement since he arrived. So perhaps he has got an influence. But I tend to agree with you, Mick. I think despite not scoring goals, the 2 boys up front are making an absolute massive difference to us and our team and the way the team plays. So, what's your thoughts on Colin's comment there?
Yeah, well, I actually seen a little article pop up my phone about this. What's his name? Gemes, is it? Gemes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So Gemes. Yeah. And he basically said he was absolutely delighted to come to West Ham because he says Nuno trusts and respects him, allows him to do what he needs to do with the team, which I thought was an extraordinary comment to make. Yeah, given that he's a coach rather than the manager. So yeah, he must have a lot of trust in him. Yeah, but I don't know if he's so much influencing the 4-4-2 thing because the 2 strikers were bought prior to him coming. But yeah, I mean, I have said it myself on here on numerous occasions that that's the way forward for West Ham. Myself, yeah, just like you don't have to go with what is necessarily the given formation that most teams play in the Premier League. So it suits West Ham at the moment with the players they've got. So yeah, I mean, if he changes against Chelsea, he's a fool because we've won 2 games like that. We've beaten Tottenham and Sunderland, and
look pretty good about
Chelsea.
while we're about it as well, haven't we?
Yeah, well, if you play Chelsea and just allow Chelsea to come into your half and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, there's only one outcome. So,
Yeah.
and then that pushes Bowen and Somerville back, and then we're back to where we were. So, I hope he's brave in terms of like, look, we're just going to go for it. You know, as I said, echoes of Trevor 20 odd years ago where he went, that's it. I remember him just going, that's it, we're going for every game, home and away. And unfortunately, we got relegated that season with the highest amount of points ever. But yeah, we've got to go with that gung ho. Obviously, not stupid, but we've got to go with that belief that we're not going to sit there and try and snatch one. We've got to put it to Chelsea, because Chelsea have their own problems too. You know, they're not thumping everybody, are they?
No. Happy is on the sort of same page as Colin. She says this new second in command, Paco, has really made a difference. Best signing of the season. Ian says, I agree, Jeff. We need to have a bit more class than booing our own players before they even come on. Yeah, I mean, like I said at the time, it's the 93rd minute. We're 3-1 up in the game. He's just bringing on a centre half, waits another 30 seconds. I mean, he's barely going to be involved in the game, and I thought it was just unnecessary to boo him. I think it is a bit classless booing your own players, but I mean, I just thought everyone would have a bit more nous about him to go. He's just using a bit more time, seeing the game out. Team managers do that kind of thing all the time.
Yeah, I just feel. Go on, Jeff. Go on, mate.
No, carry on. Go on. You respond to that, mate.
Yeah, I just feel with Kilman, you know, this is his second season here, right? So when he joined, I don't think there was one person on this show went, "Oh, he's crap." Yeah, everyone was delighted. Yeah, yeah, paid a little bit too much money for him. Everyone said, which, you know, that is the West Ham way. Yeah, but we thought, you know, and I was one of them that said he's probably captain material, should be made captain over Bowen. Yeah, because he was captain at Wolves, he's a centre half. I don't like forwards being captains myself personally, but that's personal. But yeah, and we all thought, you know, and then he started off. I mean, remember him coming out of the back. I forget who it was. He made a great run, and then I think he sat Wan-Bissaka off, and then crossed it in for Bowen and scored. But he made a great run and a great crossfield pass, and I thought, that's a proper centre half. Yeah, and now he's lost all confidence.
Yeah, he's falling to pieces, isn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's you know, Mav has picked himself up. Yeah, and I know you're not the biggest fan of Mav because you don't like his ball distribution. But when he
I
plays
think
for his
he's been
country,
done brilliant lately, though. I mean, I have to hold my hands
yeah,
up.
no, yeah, but his ball distribution, you've always said, is you've never liked. He's got a mistake in him, as you said, with some bad passes and stuff. But when he plays for his country, he's outstanding. You know, and he's picked himself up. There's a player in Kilman, and it's very hard when the world is on your back to go out and perform, and every mistake. I mean, his stats are horrendous. I looked something again, stuff that comes up on my phone. You must have stuff, can't when you was. But Tobedo's duels won was 13%. Yeah. And which is no surprise because Tobedo ain't great in the air. But the shocking one was Kilman's was only 31%. I think it was. It was in the very low 30s. Compared to Mav's duels one in the air, which was 67%. So, you know, he's winning less than half the duels that Mav's winning in the middle. Yeah, and that's a problem. It's a massive problem for him, for the team. Do I think he's a crap player? No, I don't, because when we bought him, yeah, I don't think there's one person who listens to this show or gets involved in the chat that I can remember saying it, other than it was a little bit dear, a little bit pricey what we paid for him, but everyone was happy to have him at the club. So I have a lot of sympathy for him because there's a player in there, but through the different coaches he's had, they seem to have destroyed him. And to be fair to Nuno, he's tried to give him a chance and it's not worked out. So I'm not sure where he goes, Kilman, really going forward, because I think we paid 45 million for him or something like that, didn't we?
40
We'd be lucky to get 40 million, was it? Plus add-ons, maybe. Yeah, what we're going to get for him if we sell him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's one that, yeah, I do look at it and think you can't go from being that player that broke out, passed the ball, was winning headers when you first come to where you are now. Something You know, something in the background, maybe not football related, that he's just not on it. Who knows?
Yeah. Togs is saying, Tati and Pablo have also helped Nuno change the tactics. They work the opposition and allow Bowen, Cry, and Fernandes some freedom. And that's something I said about last week. I think what they do, they occupy centre halves. They give the defence something to think about. You said earlier they force you up the pitch a little bit further, and I do think it's created um, space for Somerville and Bowen to actually do their thing, and they're staying a bit wider in this formation, and then I think they're much more effective from those positions.
Yeah, because they're harder to double up on now as well. You see, when you have got, no disrespect to centre forward. Sorry, gone off my head. Who come
Which
on as a
one?
sub?
Wilson.
Wilson. Sorry, brain freeze. Yeah, well, no disrespect to Wilson. He doesn't occupy centre halves, not anymore. You know, not the way Mickey used to. Mickey on his own would occupy two centre halves. Yeah. He does. They don't really worry too much about him. If they don't get the ball into the box, they're not too worried. So a lot of the time, you'll see them very quickly doubling up on Somerville, doubling up on Bowen. Yeah, and maybe not as tight to Wilson as they might be, say, to Mickey back in the day. And now these two boys, they know they can break away. Yeah. So it'd be nice to see them scoring a few goals, to be fair, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll be time.
Still early days for these guys, though. I mean, they're like 2 or 3 games
no
in.
criticism.
You know.
No criticism. Yeah. No criticism. You know.
I will say, Pablo's come in for a bit of criticism. I say he's only 2 or 3 games in. He's coming for a bit of criticism for his touch, and I've been a bit. Give him a chance. Let the guy get settled in before we start ripping him apart too much. But he did look a little bit. Yeah, he did look a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked a bit clunky, I thought, against Sunderland. I must admit, he was, but his work rate and the way he occupies the defenders is excellent.
He's not come from a high level league, and he won't be used to the quick press and the tightness of the game in the Premier League. So he's probably thinking he's got a little bit more time, but he'll learn. You know, I mean, So
Tony's joined us in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Tony. Popping in, mate. And he says he agrees with you. He said it was daydreaming Wan-Bissaka. You remember when we were talking about the goal? Colin's saying hi to Happy in the chat. And Tony says good evening, and to all of the wonderful people in the chat.
Hi, Tony.
Frog in the World's joined us. Evening, Frog. Thanks for popping in, mate. Good to see you. He says good evening, loungers. Tog says, are we on a soft slagging off AWB again this week, for fuck's sake? I don't know.
No.
Is it a soft slagging off? I'm not sure. I thought he did quite a lot good in the game. He held the ball up really quite well on a number of occasions, retained possession. I think really it's just the observation of him being a bit lax on the back post. I think he was last week, and I don't even know where Wan-Bissaka was for that goal. To be honest with you, I'll have to watch that back again.
Still coming in. You know, he does not see the danger at the far post. If he's 1-on-1 or he's got a fellow out wide, but when the ball's coming in from the other side, you look at the amount of times he's in the air and he's nowhere near that ball. But that's just something that's in his game. But no, I'm certainly not slagging him off. He's an integral part of the West Ham team now and now going forward. But it's just something that he's just not good at.
I agree.
And Scalzi's not very good at that either, but he's a young lad. But, you know, that's where Diouf has it over Scalzi. You will see Diouf in the right place at the right time and just nicking a header. Yeah, and he's not the biggest in the world. You know, it's just something that, you know, and you see it in other teams, by the way. It's not, you know, Wan-Bissaka as I say, he's a big part of West Ham team right now. But yeah, I think it's a terrible weakness of his. Both
I
at
agree.
corners, free kick, crosses.
I agree. It's something I've been saying for quite some time, even when everyone was really praising Wan-Bissaka. The one thing I've said about him consistently are the weakness, as you say, a weakness in his game. I think he falls asleep a bit on the back post, and he's been exposed a bit for it for a couple of times. So don't think we're going in too hard on him, but yeah, I agree. I think it is a weakness, and it's shown up for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Happy says, seeing Pablo has had a fair bit of criticism from some fans. Granted, he is pretty slow, but as you say, Togs, he frees up our attacking players. And I agree. I agree with that. Like I say, I've for a couple of weeks, people have been on at him. I think his price tag is weighing him down. Not him necessarily, but I think weighing the fan base down a little bit. And lots of people have had to say, "Oh, he's not a 23 million pound player." What I'd say is, it's not his fault what the club paid for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just in the door. He's settling into a new league, as you say, in a new team, and I think overall he's done quite a good job. Aside from um, not scoring yet, and he's had a couple of good chances, and when they've fallen to him, he's been a little bit rushed and blazed half reasonable chances over the bar. He probably should have scored on Saturday. Actually, I think it was a decent chance he
He,
got.
he should have scored on Saturday. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, and he blazed
But
that over.
But as you said, all the plus points are way like Wan-Bissaka not being that good at the far post. Yeah, all the plus points of his game, you can live with that, and a bit like that with this Pablo at the moment. Yeah, he will get better. Yeah, and his heart's in it. You know, when we look at, if I'm going to change the subject here, 10 minutes stop. But when you look at what Paqueta's doing with his feigned injury and not wanting to play, and then you get a fellow on there that wants to play, wants to be in the shirt, wants to put the effort in. So yeah, again, you've got to let these people. You've got to let these. And I don't know how old he is. He's not very old, is he? Jeff? He's young.
21, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a massive pressure on a. I wouldn't call him a kid. But yeah, it's massive pressure from where he's come from, the type of background, come to move into London to a stadium that probably not sometimes the best place to play in with the atmosphere and everything else. So right now, yeah. So no credit to him. He's made a positive difference given
Yeah,
the things that are perhaps not great about his game right now, but he's made a positive difference. And
I think both of them have.
all
Him
the
and
people,
Castellanos, I think, have
yeah,
both made, like you say, a positive difference to the team without
they're not
without
tearing up
actually
trees,
contributing
but
goals.
yeah, they're not tearing up trees, but they're making a positive difference.
Yeah,
And again, it's that time of uh, they're not come to West Ham where they were 3 years ago winning the European trophy and that, and everyone was buzzing. It's the complete opposite. So and you've got to give them credit for trying.
and if you look at Jokeres, who's gone to Arsenal, he came out of Sporting. He was absolutely tearing that Portuguese league up, scoring goals for fun, wasn't he? You know, no one could stop him. And he's come into the Premier League into a very good side, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not tearing this league up in the same way, is he? You know, so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say Pablo's a Jokeres, by the way, or as good as, but I'm just saying, like, let's give the guy a chance, settle into the team. That's my view.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Arsenal are top of the league, so it's going to sound like a stupid statement, yeah. But Arsenal have a lot of the ball, yeah. They don't necessarily make dozens of chances a game. I mean, the amount of goals they score from free kicks and corners, uh, are as add to their tallies of wins as much as open play goals do. You know what I mean? They're not ripping sides apart. I know everyone sits back against Arsenal, which is that's another story. But they're not. There's I don't know who they take. There was a thing on Sky Sports actually. It was Sunday. I was watching it, and all the from open play, non-penalty goals and stuff. None of them were scored in something like 16 games or something, which is crackers, So
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the statistic now, but I looked at it. I don't know if you've seen it after the game. I watched the Arsenal game, so
Yeah, the
yeah,
17th in the league for goals out of open play or something. Is that it? Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they have their own way of playing Arsenal, and it works. They keep the ball, they keep you under pressure, they get free kicks, they get corners, blah blah blah. Yeah, but he's not in a team that's free flowing, So that's where you've got to give Jared Bowen so much credit for the goals that he gets for West Ham, because we've not been free flowing for some time, but he just keeps popping up with goals, doesn't he? Not right, he's not in double figures this year, but you wouldn't expect him to be when he's playing right back half the time. So yeah, positivity from the new boys, is what I would say.
Frog makes a really good point here, I think. He says, same as any workplace, it's how the links in a team work together that matters more than individual stars. And it's great having that shining light, wonderful football player that stands out, superstar. But especially when you're a team that's in a position we're in, work rate and being a cog in the machine is as, if not more important, especially the situation we find ourselves in. I think if we could work our way to wins rather than rely on one player that may or may not perform, that's where we need to be.
Yeah, well, we've got shining lights in the team, and they've shown that the last few weeks. And Somerville, yeah, he's cut. If we've sat here and spoke about him so many times, but injury's been a big part of his, and again, playing an auxiliary left back is not what he wants to be doing. Yeah, you got Bowen. Fernandez has come to the fore. Yeah. Tabino has played very well, actually, in the last month, 6 weeks. I don't think he's had a bad game for quite a number of games, 6, 8 games maybe. Tabino's looks like the player we thought we'd buy. He's useless in the air, by the way, but yeah, he covers the ground, he gets the space, he gets the tackles in. Yeah, you put a good centre half next to him, and yeah, he looks the part. So yeah, there are shining lights in the team, but it's getting them to shine now, and the battery needs to stay on to the end of the season.
Yeah. I mean, well, Somerville's, I think, is a really good example because he's another player who's been coming in for some criticism and saying he's got no end product and one thing and another. And we've been saying for weeks that despite that, and we do need that out of him, we're a better team with him in it. And he was one of the players that carries the ball, gets it up the pitch, wins free kicks. Now he's doing all of that, but now he's chipping in the last few games with goals and assists, which is, that's the only thing that's been lacking out of his game. And if he continues in that vein, he's going to be absolutely massive for us between now and the end of the season.
Well, again, when he was bought and we was on this show, everyone was like so excited to have him, yeah. And then like you can't go. You look, class is permanent, yeah. If you've got class about you, you've got certain attributes about you. You don't never lose them unless you do it physically. You put on loads of weight, blah blah blah, that sort of thing, or drinking or whatever. But if you're a footballer that keeps yourself fit and you're training and you're working hard, he's never going to lose that ability. And as the gentleman earlier on says, I'm trying to read the things. It is about the teamwork. It's about the spirit around the club. It's about, as he said, if you're in the office and everyone's working together, yeah, these players will thrive. So, but yeah.
Terence says, let's not kid ourselves. We need 4 or 5 players to uphold our defence. We need class, not bargain basement Sullivan excuses. Let's build and go forward. I wonder if Traore comes into a bargain basement Sullivan excuse. What's your thoughts on the arrival of him, Nick?
Traore? Well, again, is he going to rip up trees? No, he's not. Does Nuno like him? totally different levels. But again, forgive me, it's not about me, but I'm saying totally different levels. I've managed at all sorts of levels, and certain players came with me because they work the way I like to work. I like them, and we went on and played with different teams, or were involved in different teams. So I can understand that if he thinks it's a bit of a missing jigsaw for him as a manager, and he likes the player, and he believes, because his best days were under Nuno. To be fair, he ain't going to score your bags of gold, but a bit like the two new boys, he will keep players occupied. He's still quick, and he will keep defenders at the other end of the pitch, chasing back and stuff. But
I'm not sure on the details of the deal yet. And a couple of weeks ago, it was like they wanted 7 million for him, and I'm like, I'll be really pissed off if we pay £7 million for him.
I think it's 3 million. I read 3 million today.
I read that it's there's no fee unless we stay up, and he's here for 6 months and all that. And if that's the structure of the deal, if we stay up, we have to pay Fulham a bonus for us staying up, or whatever, a couple of 3 million, whatever it might be. If that's the structure of the deal, is he my favourite? Would I fall over myself about Traore arriving? No, but does he offer the things that you said? Does he offer getting us up the pitch, keeping people occupied? Is he a sub to bring on 20 minutes, half hour at the end of a game that can cause a few problems and a bit of mayhem? And you have to say, yeah, he is. And if that's the structure of the deal, then actually it might not be a bit of bad business for once by West Ham. But I'd be interested to know what everyone in the chat thinks about that, the arrival of Traore. Happy says, I do hope it's not just Traore and Kinski before the window shuts. We need a centre half. I do think we need a centre half, and I don't think we need Kinski at all. And I don't know what your thoughts on that are, but rumours we're going to swap Hermansen for Kinski.
It's only a loan deal.
On a loan deal, yeah. I don't understand using up a loan. But he's going to sit on the bench, isn't he? So why use up our only Premier League loan slot? I don't understand that.
Is he going to sit on the bench? Number one. Number two, Hermansen would be a complete. You think Kilman's a wreck? Can you imagine Hermansen having to come in and play at the London Stadium with 3 or 4 games to go? If Areola and he makes a mistake, he'll get crucified. So the best thing to do with that boy is get him out of the club, get him into an environment where he can breathe, because Potter fucking destroyed him. Absolutely fucking destroyed him, playing him injured. He's the only keeper at West Ham that's had a clean sheet this season, by the way. Against Forest. Again, it's about how
it's the only clean sheet we've had this season.
He is.
No, but that's it. There's one, isn't there?
Yeah, but he was in goal. Goal. Yeah. So is he a bad goalkeeper? Because when he came, everyone thought, again, on this show, there's no one I can never remember saying, "Oh, he's crap, he's rubbish." Yeah. He came with a good reputation that Potter destroyed almost immediately. And he did destroy him. So he needs to get out of the club. He needs to go away, maybe get his confidence. Maybe he might get in the Spurs side. You never know. And he might get a few games.
Not that great, I don't think.
No. Well, he's on the same level as Areola. They're good, but not quite good enough. Let him go. Let's switch it over. Try and build the boy's confidence. We paid a lot of money for him as the young goalkeeper, and maybe he might come back as a better goalkeeper, like in terms of his mindset. Because Areola, that has to be his last season at West Ham, for me anyway. I know I've said this. I know a lot of people here don't agree with me, but he makes some fantastic saves. He does, and he's kept us in quite a number of games. So it sounds contradictory, but he doesn't control his box. He flaps at everything.
I'm on the same page as you with Areola. I think he automatically starts at the moment.
Oh yeah.
And he
He's doing
I agree, he makes great saves. He's a brilliant shot
he's
stopper. He's
doing his
kept us
best.
in games, but
Doing his best.
yeah, he doesn't command his box at all, and his distribution is not good, bordering on awful at times. And there's
Do you know
times
what? Do you
where
know what his sucks?
it just
Do you know
comes
what his
back at us
successful
flippantly.
passes are? Sorry, Jeff. Do you know what his successful passes are out on the back?
No, go on.
41, 41%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, but
Yeah,
when Arsenal brought Raya in, everyone kicked off, didn't they? Like, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? Yeah. Well, he's a better shot stopper, and his distribution's fantastic. And Raya will come out. He won't win every ball because no keeper does, but he'll come out and win more than his fair share of crosses and stuff. You know what I mean? And that's where Areola his kick outs are awful, and his domination in the box is it's non-existent.
yeah.
Yeah. So so hopefully maybe going forward, and we have to look going forward because we can't look back. And there's going to be some tough times ahead come the end of the season, I'm sure. But we want to try, especially these young players. Send Hermanson out, get him some confidence, and see where he goes from there.
On the
But
subject of
the elephant in the room has not been spoke about, Jeff.
well, let me just get through these because we're on the transfer rumor vibe, and it's
That's what I'm saying.
relevant
On
in
the
the chat.
transfer rumour, the
So
old elephant in the room's not been spoke about.
okay, so Tony says Disasi's been mentioned, and what's your thoughts on him? And here's another thing.
Just a boy from Chelsea.
Yeah,
Yeah. Again, I can't comment on him because I haven't seen him play enough yet. Has he
well,
been shocking when I've seen him play? No. Has he been outstanding? No. I don't know enough about him. He's only young as well. He's another 20, 21-year-old, isn't he?
no, he's 27 or something like that, I think.
What the boy at Chelsea?
I think so. Yeah, I'll have to
Oh
look it
right,
up
okay.
to be sure. The thing is, for me, we can't. That's a loan deal as well, right? Or as far as I understand it, a loan deal. We can't loan him and Kinski, so it's one or the other, right?
Yeah. What
So
about the boy?
can't be true. Both can't be true.
There's another. I did see. Was he an Argentinian? I haven't had much time today. I think there was an Argentinian centre back coming from somewhere as well. They were looking at, but again,
What's
I
his
don't know.
name?
It's all. I can't remember, Jeff. Yeah,
Ah, right.
I didn't have much time today. I don't know. Anyway, look, you can speculate about all these players coming in and coming out. Yeah, it's how good they perform when they get there, as we found out from the likes of Rodriguez, Ward-Prowse, Kilman. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of joy about we've signed him when they come to West Ham and they play like absolute shite. So let's see who they bring in and can they perform. That's what it boils down to. Yeah,
Who's
you
your
can pay what
elephant
you
in the
like.
room, Mick?
The elephant in the room. Yeah, it's the right thing. He should go. Yeah. I'm going to give you a stat that come up on my phone the other day, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for this playmaker, this genius, that plays once in a blue moon for us. Yeah. I thought at one point he might turn, but he didn't. Soufal in his games at West Ham created. This is what was on the statistics that I read. Created one chance he created a goal, not a chance. He created a goal once every 9 games in his time at West Ham. Soufal, yeah?
Right.
The right
Right
back,
back.
yeah? Yeah. Paqueta's one in just under 13. Where's the mercurial genius that everyone goes on about? He's a lazy bastard, yeah, that only plays when he wants to. He spends more time on his arse than on his back, yeah? He
Yeah,
has
you've
got
always been mad
great
about
talent.
him for that.
You compare him to his time with Payet and him. Yeah, and I know Payet did what he did, but given Payet's time at West Ham and given his time at West Ham, yeah, not even in the same bracket. So if we can get 40 million, 36 million for him, let him go. Yeah,
Well,
and
I know you couldn't get. Go on, carry on, mate.
Go on.
No, I know you couldn't get in last week, but we spoke about this in the chat, and I spoke about this last week. Not quite in the same terms that you have, but it's been no secret, I don't think, that he's wanted to go back to Brazil and wanted to go back to Brazil for some time. And my sentiment was, if we can get like 40 million for him or around 40 million for him, let's get the money in. I'd like to see us reinvest it. I've seen plenty of rumours that it won't get reinvested, and only the next week we'll see whether it does or whether it doesn't. But I think it's time for us to move Paqueta on. But I'm not too aggy about it. I don't want to demonise the player, slag him off. I'll thank him for all of the good things that he's done for us and all the good times and good and enjoyable performances that he gave us. And one thing I said last week was I think we've been pretty consistent on this channel in saying that Paqueta for us has been inconsistent, and we've only ever got a few games here or a few games there out of him, and then not a lot.
Yeah, that's the problem with him. Again, I said I compared him to Payet before. Payet for a lot of West Ham fans is still a bit of a cult hero, isn't he? For his, the entertainment that he gave us consistently. Yeah, I know he went off
in a shit way, but he was great when he was here.
He was here, but I don't think he'll never be. Well, it's probably just personal with me, but Paqueta for me is not a person that I will look back in years to come and think, oh yeah, he was one of the greats, because he certainly was not.
No, he frustrated you hugely, I know. Frog says, I can seriously see Spuds getting dragged into this. Burnley had them beat. They are terrible. And I touched on it earlier. Them and Palace really genuinely could get dragged down into this. It's hard to see Spurs actually getting relegated, but they are really bad at the moment. And their next 4 fixtures are, for a team that's not playing well, really daunting. And if we could pick our tails up and get some a reasonable points return out of our next 4, and they could conceivably lose their next 4, we really could be right on their shoulders. I do think Palace are the great hope for us to overtake. And like I said earlier, in fairness to Colin, he's been saying that for several weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Make West Ham great again, Tim. Thanks for joining us, mate. He says, hope this isn't like 2003, where we had a great end of season, but it was too much to turn around, which basically you touched on earlier, didn't you? And that's the worry. We might have given ourselves just a little bit too much to do from the first half of the season.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, we all live in hope, but it's such a difficult league to pick 3 points up, pick 3 points up, pick 3 points up, pick 3 points up. It's just difficult, and yeah, I don't want to be on here and sort of be the Grim Reaper, if you like. I just think Forest will pick up more points. They've got a good squad. Yeah,
the thing is, Forest, they've got 7 out of 9 in their last 3 games, and unfortunately 3 of them was against us, and that's a problem, isn't it? Leeds are picking up points, so the teams that are literally really struggling to get points are Palace and Spurs.
They're 8 points clear of us, or something, aren't they? Something like that.
Both of them are 8 points clear of us. Yeah.
So you look, and then you've got Dyche, who has turned Forest into another Everton, but he will get them out of trouble. Yeah, and then it's funny, isn't it? Because there was a big shout here about paying 9 million to pay the compensation for Thomas Franks. We should have got him and blah blah blah. Well, here we are, 9 months later. Yeah, that he is 8 months later. He's not proven to be tearing up any trees either, but they've got their own problems, Spurs, in the way that they do their business. So yeah, it's such a difficult thing being in the Premier League. Again, another club with a new stadium that's struggling. Yeah, we just got to hope Nuno can pull it out of the bag. But if he doesn't, and you're talking about investment there earlier, Jeff, investing that money back in, are we just going to chuck money at it and hope for the best, or do we just maybe leave some money lying around so that when or if we do go down, we've got a little bit to play with in terms of perhaps keeping up some of the higher players' wages for the following season, so we don't have to let I'm sure Bowen's on big money. Their sort of wages say, well, we can cover it for a season. Because there's no doubt if we keep playing like we are, we would go straight back up if we held on to all our players. So there's so many things to throw in the mix when going out and buying who now other than a strong centre half. Yeah, forget Traore. He's obviously got something in his mind doing this, and that's fine. He's the manager, but we don't need anyone else other than a strong centre half. You're right about the
definitely need
goalkeeper.
a centre half.
Yeah, but you're right about the goalkeeper. But then there's things there. Maybe he's sending him out, as I said earlier on, for his own mental health, get himself, in a different environment. Centre half, yes. Would I want to spend 36 million on the centre half? No. Can we get a centre half in on loan? Yeah, with a loan fee, and then reassess at the end of the season. If we manage to pull off the miracle and we're there, then that's a different ball game. But if we don't, then we need to hang on to everybody. Fernandes has been talked about by other clubs already. Somerville, people will be looking at him.
It's driving me mad, all that Somerville stuff. 2 weeks ago, it was Galatasaray were going to come in, and it was Spurs. Now it's Roma. I mean, I don't. If we get relegated, he's probably away, right? But he's not going anywhere this window, is he? We'd be mad, right? And off the back of three games.
He's not going there. He's not going there this window. I'm not saying that this window. What I'm saying is, with that money that's coming in, yeah, he's not to be foolish with it, or the last go up, try and take us up, and then think, oh fuck, yeah, gotta let you go, yeah. We have the balloon payments, so we're gonna have to go down, pretty much, including Bowen, keep them, yeah. Then we can go back up, and we're going back up with a Premier League side, irregardless that he got relegated. We're going up with a Premier League side that knows the league, yeah. If we start, this got to go, he's got to go. You're doing a rebuild. You're doing a rebuild within the Championship, and all due respect to West Ham or anyone that's in the Championship, you will not get Premier League players come to you. So you're building to go up, then you're rebuilding to stay in. Yeah, it's a difficult situation. We've got whatever we bought now and whatever we've got now, we stick with. We take them down, we bring them up, and there's going to be strong conversations with the likes of Bowen. People say he'll leave, but will he make the World Cup squad this summer? I'd say it's 50-50. Yeah, it's 50-50. No, right. So, and that isn't because he's at West Ham. That's because of the quality of the whole of the England squads anyway, as a whole.
Tuchel's got Madueke in front of him. And he seems to like him. So there's no room.
But at the end of the season, that's gone. World Cup, yeah. So there's nothing there, and it's 2 years before they're in the Euros again. And if he's not part of the World Cup stuff, then going forward, then he knows that he's not in Tuchel's real thoughts. Yeah, and that's the only thing for me that would make Bowen think, well, I might have an England career to finish off, but I'm not sure that he has one. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve one. I'm not saying that. I don't think he has one. So hold on to Bowen, hold on to everybody else. So yeah, don't be overly going mad to get rid of that money, because we might need it just to pay players and keep inside of all the financial rulings that go on.
Words is saying re-relegation. We are running out of games, and the teams above us are scoring points. I'm hopeful, but expecting to get relegated. Palace are dropping like a stone. They might save us, and that's kind of where we're at. And I just sort of said, um, Forest are picking up points. That was my hope, that the European commitments for them. I was hoping Brentford would beat them, then would be on their shoulder 2 points, looking over their shoulders all of the time. And by the way, um, if we beat Chelsea this weekend and they lose, we're back into that 2 point scenario. But it's worrying. Like I just said, they picked up 7 points from nine in the last three games. Leeds keep just ticking away, picking up points. So it really is looking like the only team we're likely to catch is Palace or Spurs, who are the two teams that are really, really struggling. And as we just said, the gap's 8 points, and we are running out of games.
If we could get
Tall,
that gap to
tall
Palace,
order,
if we could get that gap to Palace down to say 3 points, yeah, we do actually
and we've
play
got to
them.
play them as well.
Yeah, we've got to play them.
So yeah, it'd be interesting
But
then.
if you could hear yourself talking there, Carl, I started laughing and I knew you were talking. Yeah, we get something against Chelsea. It's like it's Chelsea.
Oh,
Yeah, away.
I've
You
got
know what
no
I mean? It's like
expectations.
no. But what I'm saying is like everyone's, and I'm the same. You just think, go and do it. Go away at Chelsea and win.
No, I
You've
thought
done it
this
before.
weekend was the like we won Forest away from Brentford after playing in Europe, and you think this is it. Brentford's strong at home; they'll turn them over. Gap's 2 points, and it didn't work out like that, and it's put a real dent in me and my hopes. To be honest with
Yeah,
you,
they absolutely murdered us, Brentford. Murdered us.
yeah. Funnily enough, Make West Ham Great Again says Nuno throwing matches against Leeds and Brentford will cost us. Um, I kind of agree and don't completely agree with that. So I think the Brentford um, was a real opportunity. I don't think they were that good then, and I think he did almost throw the match against them. I think we could have beaten them. I don't quite agree quite as much with Leeds, and it's sort of put down off. He hadn't have played the midfield that he played, we would have had a nailed on 3 points away at Leeds, and I'm not a subscriber to that. I think Ellen Road's a tough place to go, and I don't think it's a given that we would have gone there and won. He should have fielded a better side than he did, but I don't just count that as we'd have got 3 points if he hadn't have played. Um, Suchek and
Again,
Ward-Prowse, was it? No, it wasn't Ward-Prowse.
again,
Irving and
again,
Rodriguez, wasn't it?
yeah, but people speculate about should have picked a better side, could have done that. Yeah, it it's just so hard for these fellas. You can't, you Liverpool now. Arnold Slot there now hasn't won in 5 or 6 games, and he spent how much money, and his complaint tonight was, I have to keep using the same players, and they're just wearing out. So given pressures, seeing what as a new manager coming in, what's my options? How's he going to play against them? There's a test for him. It's just so difficult to manage in that league and manage fans' expectations and then also manage players' expectations and also manage players' time, because the game is fast, it's furious. Yeah, it takes a lot out of them. When you're under pressure, it hurts even more. When they're playing a bit more freedom, they don't feel the aches and pains and stuff. Fortunately, we're only playing once a week now at the moment. We've got an FA Cup. We might go on a run and win the FA Cup and get relegated. Who knows?
I'd take that at this stage.
But yeah, there's too much criticism for me towards Nuno at times. Yeah, he's come in, forgetting the last two games, he's come into a god awful mess. Yeah, whether he saves us or take us down, he is the future. It's proven. The people on this show, myself included, thought Franks would be a good fit. There's other, Arnie Slott's gone in and won the freaking Premier League, and now they're talking about sacking him because he's not winning enough games and blah blah blah, and he spent however 400 million in the summer and blah blah blah. And I said it last time I was on the show. You've got to stick with. You've got to stick with. You got to stick with what you've got and give him time to work it out because you see some of it when he scored the other week, one straight over to him, jumped on him. So he's obviously got a bond with the players, yeah. And it'd be nice if, as a group of fans and supporters, that we get behind him a bit more, even if we go down. Yeah, he has a good track record, and he's starting to get people to play for him, and it takes time. Yeah, unfortunately, he come in too late.
Colin says, gents, we have two crucial games coming up at home against Man United and Man City. If we are going to have a chance of staying up, we have to get at least 4 points. If we get 6 points, even better. I mean, you can't argue with that sentiment. The worrying thing is, you might have fancied us against Amorim's Man United, but Carrick has come in, absolutely turned them around. They've got results against Arsenal away and City at home, and they look a completely different proposition now, don't they?
Yeah, well, I don't think we'll get 1 point out of them 2 games, if I'm being honest. Yeah, we traditionally are shite against City. Yeah.
Yeah.
We give them a half a decent game under Moisey, but it was all like the odd breakaway and nicked a goal and sort of lost 2-1 or something, and then we've been battered 5 and 6-1. And quite honestly, I just the way Man United are playing at the moment. Old Slabhead's back in the middle, and he's controlling that defence now. I can't see us getting. We'd be lucky to get a draw somewhere out of that. They're not in my 38 points, by the way. In 2 games.
Well, just scrolling down because I saw Happy's comment, and I wasn't sure who she was referring to. She says, I'd rather we got him than Leeds, who were in for him. I thought, why hasn't he been playing? And Tony says he's been down the pecking order. Not sure if he had an injury. And she says she's referring to Disassi. I mean, they call him Disaster, don't they? She says injury prone, right up our street. I don't know that much about him, to be fair. Went to Chelsea for big money and I haven't seen a lot of him there. Happy says, I think the Guilherme transfer will bite us in the arse in the near future. Can see him smashing it at Sporting. Here's the thing, that Portuguese league is just not a patch on the Premier League, is it? I wouldn't be surprised if he went out there and done well. The only thing I'll say about Guilherme, and it's a bit of a weird one because I sort of feel like he didn't get an opportunity and he wasn't given much of a chance. And I don't understand why, if he wasn't playing in the first team, why he didn't play in the under-23s and get some football down there, help develop his game and get adjusted to English football. So that seemed a bit odd for me that he's literally got no football for us at all anywhere. But there's like 3 managers that didn't want to play him. And I don't know, does that tell you a story? Are they all that dreadful, or is he just not quite there? Guess we'll never really know.
I agree. You have 3 managers. No one sort of said, get on the bench, come on for 20 minutes, start a game for half an hour, start a game for an hour or whatever, blend him in. There was never any thoughts of that off all 3 managers. So, but one name there, Jeff, that you brought up earlier on, Coqueres. Yeah, scored how many goals in the Portuguese league?
Oh, yeah, he can't hit a
he can barely hit a barn door where he is now. So
yeah,
they're not comparable. It's like, as much as I love Harry Kane in an England shirt, like in Germany, he just seems to like score 2 or 3 goals every week. Yeah. So
he was scoring here every week, to be fair.
but his numbers in Germany are huge compared
incredible.
No, that's not. I mean, we all love Harry Kane, let's be fair. But what I'm saying is, these leagues, they're just not the same as the Premier League. It's a whole different ball game, and that's why I said about Fernandes earlier on. He had that time at Southampton when they went down, and learned a lot about the game, and now he's stronger for it, So, and that's what will happen to the other young kids that come in. But I don't know that Guilherme had that in him. Maybe 3 managers looked at him and thought, sometimes it's not about ability. Sometimes it's about mental strength. Yeah, can you stand up? Can you do what we need you to do? And maybe he just wasn't. He just didn't want to. Maybe he just didn't want it. Yeah. We don't know because we're not involved.
We just don't know.
No.
Colin says, gents, I have always thought we are a much better team playing 4-4-2. It's okay, but you've got to have the right personnel. So if we'd have been playing 4-4-2 with Fulkrug and Wilson, say, starting every week, I'm not sure we'd be as effective as we are with Pablo and Tati. I mean, the work rate from them two, the legs in them, is completely different to what Fulkrug and Wilson would offer, I would suggest. But people might not agree with me.
Well, they're not. You're right in that last bit of that statement. But we'll see. Again, you've got to do it week in, week out. And have they got that? Are they going to be sidelined with a pull here and a tear there? That's where we were sport with Mickey for many years. Not the greatest goal scorer, granted. Yeah, not the greatest goal scorer. You were never sure whether Mickey was going to score or not. You just closed your eyes as he shot, hoped it went in.
Yeah, well, that's sort of what we're going to get with Traore, I think, as well, isn't it?
but he gave you everything, and he occupied. It didn't matter if it was Arsenal, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, whoever would come to the West Ham Stadium, he would occupy 2 defenders, 2 centre halves. I remember
he was a beast. When he was a beast, he was a beast.
It was a 2 big wall centre halves a few years ago, Boleyn and someone else. It absolutely
Cody, wasn't it? Connor Cody.
Yeah, Connor Cody and Boleyn. I remember that game. Yeah, absolutely destroyed the pair of them. We absolutely whacked balls that day. I forget what the score was, but they just couldn't cope with him. And we're sport with that. And as I said, they do work hard. Yeah, but let's see over time what happens, because it's taken 2 players there to do what Mickey was doing on his own at times. So, yeah, all in time. All in time.
Frog says, this getting players to solve problems and never really getting to see what they can do is just weird. And I will say that. I think you're probably referring to Guilherme there. And we did touch on, like, none of the managers really wanted to use him. But there is something a little bit weird about it, because, like I say, if he wasn't getting football in the first team, you would have thought that they might have used him a little bit in the under 23s, try and get him acclimatised a bit, but they never did that either. So the Guilherme thing is a little bit weird for me. I'm not sure whether he could make it in the first team, and the fact that managers decided not to use him would suggest perhaps not. But not utilising him at all was very weird for me. Happy says, before Forest took 3 points from Brentford, I was absolutely buzzing with the notion of the great escape from relegation. Still have hope, but things depend on other teams now, which is crap. Can't argue. It's kind of what we've been saying most of the evening, isn't it? Like, I really had great belief when we were right on their shoulders. and then they went and fucking won. And Brentford, I can't believe how bad Brentford were on Sunday. For a team that's been so good at home, were knocking on the door of the Champions League a couple of weeks ago, and then they turn out like that. Oh, it was
But the two,
sickening.
there was talks about the Leeds game earlier on the season and picking the team.
No worries,
But
Frog.
the two games that will relegate us, if we get relegated, so I still think we will. But the two games that will relegate us will be losing to Forest at home and losing to Wolves. Yeah, 6 points there. Yeah, given away. Yeah.
Yeah, there's more than that though. I mean, Bournemouth 2-0
No, but
up at Bournemouth.
yeah, but when you look where we were at that stage of the season, yeah, they were critical. Both them games were critical to win. Yeah, and I mean the Wolves was probably the worst display I've ever seen from a West Ham side in probably years.
Ah, dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, but they're the two. If I'm going to look back on the season and say where could we have saved it, where could we start turning it around, it was them two games, but they're gone now. So yeah, history, we can't do fuck all about it. But let's see what happens going forward. Well, on that note, Jeffrey, I'm going to have to go, my friend. Yeah.
No problem. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Good to see you. Hopefully catch up with you next week.
Yeah, thanks to everyone that listened in and sent their comments. Great to speak to you all again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Mate West Ham Great says, booing our own is not on, but Kilman is a disaster. I would ask him how much does he want to leave? He is that bad. Fair enough. Frog says, signed Kilman, got Cameron. Happy says, did you see AWB's stuff going on? His wife had a bad car accident and he's up in court for it. Could get sentenced, contributing to him not playing at his usual high standards for us, perhaps. Do you know what, Happy? I did not know about all that, and it's dreadful. And no doubt, outside of football, off of the pitch, it's got to be on his mind, and it could affect his game. I don't think that necessarily affects what we were talking about earlier with him sort of falling asleep and failing to defend the back post, because I think he's been doing that for a long time. That's just my opinion, but it's one of my observations of him. But I hope all of that works out for him and his wife. Colin says, gents, do you think we will go into the Chelsea game still playing a 4-4-2 or 5 at the back? I hope we go 4-4-2. My Chelsea mates are hoping we attack, for they are saying we will get a thrashing. I don't know is my answer, Colin. I don't know if he's going to switch to a 5 at the back. I do think our fullbacks are going to have their hands full, whatever formation he plays. Personally, I think we've kind of stumbled onto a formation here that seems to be working for us really well. And we've played really well in the last 2 games under that formation. And when I was speculating last week on the Walker Talks, the people who got involved in the comments, are kind of their sentiment was, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, on the back of the display against Sunderland, I think you would say exactly that. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Stick with the 4-4-2. But I understand why you're contemplating whether he would change it, because he quite possibly would. Problem is, who's his third centre back? Unless he's going to draft Myers in and play him as a third centre back, I don't really see what else he's going to do. We spoke about Kilman, and we spoke about him getting booed just for coming on in the 93rd minute. I mean, God knows what the reaction would be like if he started. But to be honest with you, I don't want to see Kilman starting against Chelsea. I think we'd be better with Tadibo and Mavropanos in a 2 rather than Kilman mixed in with the 3. Bit of a tough game to throw Myers in at Stamford Bridge, starting in a 3 at the back, and you could tuck Scholes inside, but I don't think that's very fair on him either. I think he's doing a good job at left back, and he should be left to concentrate on his game there. But give us your thoughts in the chat. Let me know what you think about that. Kind goes on to say, he says, I am hearing from my friends are saying the Paqueta fee is going to be balancing the books and won't be invested in the team. Yeah, I've kind of heard the speculation around that as well. And like I said earlier, Colin, I think the only way we're going to find out is in the next 6-7 days whether that really is going to get reinvested or will be left to balance the books. Terence is saying, why are people making excuses for Kilman? He needs to grow a pair and do what he's being paid to do. If I went to work and said I'm not feeling appreciated, so I'm giving 50%, I'd be sacked. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying there about him need to grow. I think his confidence probably is shot. I don't know if he's actually giving 50% though, or if he's just in a bit of a bad spot. I've lost my spot in the comments here, so you'll have to bear with me while I scroll back. There we are. He's saying good. Tony's saying good evening to Terence and hopes all good with him. And Terence says he hopes he's all good. Togs is saying the forwards are streaming through the middle, and the C in centre back is for centre. So why is AWB expected to be there when the two big lads are not? I don't expect AWB to do the centre back's job, but I do expect him to pick up a man on the back post when he's supposed to. I don't sort of subscribe quite so much to AWB being as much at fault this week, but I do think he was at fault last week. If that makes sense. I hope that does make sense. Corporal Colohan is in. He says, good evening. Good evening. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Tony says, yeah, all good, Terence. Now getting used to the new job, doing shows again. I'll be saying hi to Togs. Togs says he's got his gloves on. And Frog's asking if they're marigolds. And Togs says, in yellow. Both our centre-backs were watching the ball and left a fair gap between them and AWB. Can't fault his play, just need to see what's around you. By the way, I bruise easily, Brendan. If Marigold's there, be okay. Yeah, I think Tadibo actually is the one who got really sucked out of position. I don't know what he's quite what he's doing over there. But I do think their goal on Saturday came a little bit out of nothing. We got caught a little bit on the break. Like I say, I think Tadibo got sucked over. I'm not especially digging Wan-Bissaka out for Saturday's goal, but I do think it's a trait that he gets caught out a little bit on the back post at times, especially in the air. Happy says, speaking of atmosphere, Saturday's home game had some atmosphere. Was good to hear. Yeah, it did at times, for sure. More than has done. Tok says, HH, rumour is you are liking the look of Tati. Another Tattooed Argy. And she's asking, how do you know that? And Frog says, he's psychedelic. And oh, he's giving away his sources now. And no good journalist does that, Togs. Uh, I'll try and scroll down. See, you're all just chatting amongst yourselves. Frog says, our win, Arsenal bottling, Spud struggling v Burnley, perfect weekend. Yeah, aside from Brentford, it was a pretty good weekend. Tox says, I have heard Burnley fans are blaming AWB for Romero's equaliser. Well, I mean, he was sleeping a bit there, wasn't he? What a great header that was, by the way, from Romero, I have to say. Tony says, Frog, seen a clip, an Arsenal fan giving it large when they equalise, and then a few moments later, humble. Mark's in, he says, under 21s are 2-1. Excellent. I take the 2-1 up, not 2-1 down. And he says, hi, Tony and everyone. Thanks for popping in, Mark. Good to see you. Tox is saying it was a great goal. And Tony's saying 3 to 5 million being bandied around for Traore. Dad is in. Thanks for joining us, Dad. Good evening to you. Dogs is saying, I don't care for Traore, but I hope he does a job for us. Yeah, I'm kind of on that page. I wouldn't be falling over myself to sign him, but I think that, as I said earlier, I think the deal is relatively favourable, and I think he quite possibly does do a job for us. So, Frog says, hard to tell how someone will fit. Look at Wilson. That's a fair comment. I was not a fan of Wilson coming to the football club on a number of levels, and I would certainly be in the camp of don't let him leave in January now. So, Word says 3.5 million seems worth a punt as Nuno has a plan for Traore. I'd agree with that. I think the deal's favourable, and Nuno likes him. He could do a job. He can get us up the pitch as long as he's not starting. And Tony says Igor has apparently gone back to Brighton. I hope that is true. I saw rumours, but I thought Brighton were really reluctant to cancel the loan. Apparently, they don't want him for the second half of the season. So unless they can shift him out, you may know. If you know, Tony, put that in the chat, please, mate. If you know for sure that he's gone. Happy says, I like Harry. Obviously, that must be when we're talking about Areola. Frog says, Tony, I would like to have seen more of Igor while Nuno was pissing about. Yeah, I was not convinced by what I saw of Igor, I have to say. But Tony tends to agree with you. And just to see if he could do something, he started that game and Happy says he looked all right. I see the game he started. I thought he didn't look good in the air. I thought he let the ball get past him a little bit too easily. I didn't think he looked very convincing at all. But just goes to show. I mean, we all see things differently. So just because that's what I think, don't make me right. The To Me to You show is back on again for Ward Prowse. Happy's asking if Cummins came on in the under-21s. Disassi maybe 27, but hardly any miles on the clock. Yeah, he hasn't played a lot, has he? And he's French. So is that a good thing for you, Happy? And Frog says the under-21s win 2-1. Excellent. That's good stuff. I hope Mick's not writing Paqueta's work reference. Yeah, Mick's always been a bit frustrated by Paqueta. I've been frustrated by Paqueta, and I think he's been a little bit inconsistent for us, but not quite on the same level as Mick. Happy says, Pax, good luck to him. Wouldn't have scored that goal in Prague without him in the team. Gutted we never got the best out of him, but he is fecking annoying to watch. Yep, he wants to go. He wants to leave England. He's going back to Brazil. Always say thank you for Prague. I think he did offer us more than that. I think there's games where when he played well, I think he was sparkling to watch Paqueta. But when he was disinterested and throwing himself around on the floor, he was hugely frustrating. I don't think we got the best out of him. I think he was inconsistent for us. But I don't have any malice or anything at all towards Paqueta in any way. He can, if we get the best part of 40 million for him, go home, enjoy your football, raise your family. I've got no problem with it, to be honest with you. Happy says Palace are looking shy. Hope they get dragged into the relegation battle. Like I say, I think they're our great hope, and we've still got to play them if we can. I don't know, what, 4 or 5 games, something like that, maybe. I'd have to check the fixtures. Maybe it's a bit further away than that. But if we're anywhere close to them when we play them, who knows? Maybe they can take our place in the bottom 3. Make West Ham great again says Ben Rama done more for us than Paqueta. It's funny to say about Ben Rama because I was never Ben Rama's biggest fan. And I had a look at his stats the other day. I don't know why I looked him up. And he statistically, at least, with his goal involvements to games, he wasn't as bad as I thought he was, to be fair. Still wasn't his biggest fan, though. Lots of clubs we need points from are cup tied as well. Happy says you expect a player to have an off game now and then, but the inconsistency with Benny and Pax is infuriating. Yeah, I think that was my thing with Ben Rama, and for me, with Ben Rama, I think there's a lot of people who like to put the blame on Moyes for Ben Rama and say, it's Moyes' fault that he's not getting the best out of him. I don't know, maybe it was, but actually, I think it was Ben Rama's fault that we didn't get the best out of him, and I thought he was inconsistent, and I agree. Paqueta was inconsistent. A joy to watch. When he was good to watch, he was a joy to watch, but he was inconsistent. Make West Ham great says, why hasn't Paqueta sued the FA? That says everything. I don't know. I don't know if it does or it doesn't, to be honest with you. Frog saying, he just became a bad co-worker to me. Bad vibe drama merchant. Would put him on teas and coffees in a workplace. I think the thing with Paqueta is he did like he wanted to be the centre of attention. It was all about him, and he probably was technically the best footballer at the club. I don't. It would be hard to argue with that. Tony's saying to make West Ham great. Think we see something once he's back in Brazil. Yeah, we'll see. See if he speaks out. See what he's got to say. Harry Monk's joined us. Evening, Harry. He says, get in there, you beautiful people. Come on, you irons. Must be talking about the under-21s. Frog saying, not the end of the world if we go down. Rode our luck for a few seasons now. FA Cup win will be nice. I tell you what, Frog, I'd rather we stayed up, absolutely. But at this stage, with us not completely cut adrift, but looking a little bit off the pace with a lot of ground to make up. If you said to me, well, you're going to get relegated, but you're going to win the FA Cup, I think I'd take it now. I'd take it right now. I'd love us to win the FA Cup. I really would. And Tox is saying, evening, Harry. A fine win at Boston. And Tony's saying, and for everyone saying hello to everyone. Harry saying, loved it. If we make the final, the Hammers Football TV should have the meet up at Wembley. My knees have gone all trembly. And Tox is saying, that's a good call. And Tony sounds like he's on board for that. And he wants you to set up a WhatsApp. Harry says, we ain't going down, the Spuds are. Let's hope you're right. And Frog saying, Spuds will do well to get 1 point next month. Yeah, I mean, look, their 4 games coming up are incredibly hard, especially the form that they're in. Tony saying, Arnie Slot, Guinness Book of Excuses. Fresh is saying, hello me. Hello to you, Fresh. Thanks for popping in, mate. Harry saying, Nino took time at Forest, then they got European football. Yeah, well, let's see if he can bring European football to the London Stadium. That would be a way to get Europe. If he wins the FA Cup, we'll be in Europe, wouldn't we? So, Frog says, long as we can fuck up Arsenal season, third from last home, I'll be well happy. Yeah, it'd be nice to put a spanner in there, stick a spanner in their spokes. Harry says, who's that? This fella with Lounger, Negative Nelly. That's Mick, Harry. I'm sure you would have seen him before. I think he's resigned to relegation this year. I'll tell him you say he's a Negative Nelly. I'm sure he'll smile at that. Colin says he's got a point to prove, Nuno, to these other clubs, especially Spurs. Fresh is saying Guilherme started both league games for Sporting since he left. Yeah, and I read that he was playing at wing back in one of them. Salman's in. He says, hope you're all well. All good here. Thanks, Salman. Thanks for joining us, buddy. I'll scroll past your comment there, Tone. Sorry, mate. Salman says, this Paqueta situation has ruined our whole transfer window. I don't know. Don't know how much else we were going to do, if I'm perfectly honest. And Salman also says, Fernand is too good for West Ham. I can see him going to United. Maybe. There'll be teams after him if he carries on in his current vein. Vlad nearly scored for Hoffenheim tonight. Has he got a goal? He got a goal for them already, didn't he? Frog says Harry Kane may as well have been wandering around with a metal detector last World Cup. Yeah. Very good. Someone says Pablo isn't the best finisher, but his work rate is amazing, and that's what this team needs. Yeah, kind of speaking about that earlier. Also, Pablo's as young and he's only played 3 games. He needs more time to adapt to the Prem. Yeah, totally agree. That's my sentiments exactly. Mo money, mo problem, Fresh says. Pierre Thompson, thanks for joining us, Pierre. Says, does anyone think Nuno will put both Wilson and Traore on the bench? I think Wilson will be gone by the end of the window. I hope they are both on the bench, and I hope Wilson isn't gone by the end of the window, which is a bit of a turnaround for me because I never bloody wanted him here in the first place. Collins Jones says, wouldn't mind seeing Harry Wilson at West Ham. Yeah, he's having a fantastic season. Lovely footballer as well. Full lounge tonight. Please click the like for Jeff. Word says, thanks, Words. Yeah, it is quite a full lounge tonight. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Harry's putting some scores in. Bromley 2, Crew 1. And Fresh is saying Wilson's contract is up at the end of the season. Yeah. If we were to go down, he would be the best striker in the Championship, I think. And even at his age, he would do a job for us. Be nice to persuade him to stay, actually. And Frog says, Fresh, you turn that autocorrect cobblers off as well. Thanks, Tony. The Fresh says his set is to throw in the occasional typo. Very good. Frog says he has as well. And showed HH how to do it as well. Blimey. Pierre says, get rid of Galami and they then say we need a winger. Nuno's nuts. Yeah, I see, Rod. We were spoken about Galami earlier, and it's a bit of a weird situation. I don't know if he was good enough, and our managers seem to think that he wasn't. But yeah, there was something odd about all of that. Salmon says Bournemouth away, another 2 points drop, being 2-0 up. Yeah, that was dreadful. The Bournemouth away, and another one, Villa at home. I thought. Laughing at Frog's comment about Chris Evans is looking well. Yeah, I thought Villa. We had the beating of Villa that day, and then we ended up losing the game, which was even worse. And yeah, Tony's laughing at that as well, Frog. I thought that was good. Aces, sorry if I scroll past your comment, mate. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Pierre says, Mav and Souček still in the team proves how we have stagnated, both being good for us, but we should have moved forward. Yeah, well, Mav, I've never been his biggest fan. I'll be honest with you, but I think he's done very well for us recently. And Souček is like a fucking limpet, isn't he? Every time you think you've moved on from him and he can't get near the team, he seems to crowbar himself back in and make himself really difficult to shift. So credit to him for that. He's been an absolutely brilliant servant for West Ham United. And there's been times where people wanted to bomb him out of the club, and yet here he is, and he's an integral part of that team at the moment. Frog says, great name, Briggs. If you drop the... I can't see with these glasses. If you drop the eye, you can get away with murder in Brazil. Big Deciders in. Lee, thanks for joining us, buddy. Hope you're well, mate. Just keep up the cracking work, mate. Better than Anfield agenda, bloke. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Lee. Nice to see you, buddy. Harry says, I take it Anthony didn't want to do the good, the bad, and the ugly Sunday tone. Choking so early. And Tony says, for some reason he didn't. He didn't want to take his call. Frog says, I bet Fozzie had a grin like Zippy. Oh. So Fresh says their goal came about because Tadibo went upfield on safari and Mav was left to cover on his own because AWB hadn't tracked back. Yeah, we were chatting about that. It's I'm pretty much with you on that. Tadibo went wandering. I don't think he needed to be out there. I think Skull sat down, probably could make a better challenge, and on another day he probably does. Yeah, Tadibo's just it's got absolutely no reason to be out there. Mav was isolated in the middle, and I'm not actually sure where Wan-Bissaka was, but I don't want to get too much into the Wan-Bissaka thing again because I've been in trouble for giving him a hard time. But I wasn't giving him too much a hard time this week. I was on his back a little bit last week. Pierre says BBC says that Eagle's gone back. That's great news. Frees up a loan space. And Fresh is saying Traore is free unless we stay up. Igor is official according to Brighton's website. That's good news all round. Like I say, I think Traore is not a bad deal under those terms. Fresh is saying that the under 17s also won their semi-final 3-2 v Palace. Excellent. And Tony's saying, see Forest have put in a bid for Palace's Mateta, just under 35 million. I can't see Mateta going to Forest. But, Paqueta's been called a rat leaving a sinking ship and all that. I don't quite put it in that category as much. Some of you may. But the Palace boys, that they really are like rats leaving a sinking ship. So who knows? Maybe Mateta does go. But I think he'd had his sights set a little higher than that. Oh, excuse me. Pierre says, good luck to Pack. We never had a team good enough to carry him. A luxury player. Yeah, he was a bit of a luxury player. And injury time winner for us. Fresh is saying. I have a question here from Pierre. He says, how many points will be safe this season? I think a minimum of 41 is required. Yeah, I just don't know. It's 38 often sees you safe. And then you look this year, Forest, Leeds picking up points like we were saying earlier. I think they're going to get to safety. Spurs and Palace don't look like they can buy a win. They've got 28 points. Maybe they won't get to 38, but it could easily be over 40 points this year. And I'm not sure we'll get to over 40 points. Frog says we'll be closer to Spuds than Leeds by the end of February. I think there's every chance that's true as well. Tony says, good to see our sponsor Brewdog closing its spirits distillery. What a joke. Get a sponsor who's struggling. Oh, wait. So are we. Frog says, Tony, I might make a pitch. Brew Frog. Very good. Usual's in the house. Thanks for joining us, usual. Bromley finished 2-2. I've got to try and catch up with your comments. Fresh is saying I meant Harry Wilson, not Callum. Yeah, Harry Wilson. I like him. Good player. He's just chatting about the scores. Okay, got down to the bottom of the chat, and there's just a couple of other things I did want to talk about this evening. I've gone longer than I thought, so go back to my notes here. It's just one of the things I wanted to credit. I wanted to credit the referee in the City Wolves game, making his Prem debut, being sent to the monitor for a VAR review, and then upholding his decision of no penalty for me. For me, that was the right decision, but a brave choice for him as well. After being asked by much more senior officials to him, or experienced officials in the Premier League in the VAR booth, basically, once they do that, they're advising him to change his decision, aren't they? And he had the courage of his convictions and said, no, I'm going to stick with my original decision. And I just wanted to say a bit of recognition for him and well done. I wish more referees actually had the courage that he had to do that. So, and the other thing I wanted to say about Fernandes' goal, I thought I'd seen the goal of the weekend. I thought there won't be a better goal than that this weekend. And then I watched Man United's 2 goals from Dorgu and Cunha against Arsenal. And absolute screamers, the pair of them. Bit of a worry that Carrick's got them playing quite so well. With us coming up against them in a couple of weeks. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I haven't caught up with the comments now because you've put a few more in. Okay, I think I'm just about where I was left off. Frog says, hopefully while in Italy, the Chelsea squad will get the Bombay Blitz. Let's hope so. The one good thing about it is we're sandwiched between their Champions League game tomorrow and their semi-final against Arsenal in the EFL Cup. So maybe, just maybe, it'll be a decent time to play them this weekend. Togs is asking Fresh if it ever goes to the Abbey. Pierre says, have a good evening, Jeff, and all in the chat. Time to go. Come on, you irons. Thanks for dropping in, Pierre. It's good to see you, mate. And Tony saying, great show. Hit the like if you haven't already. Thanks for that, Tony. Fresh says, yeah, top marks to that ref for having the cojones. Refreshing to see. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. And I just wanted to make sure I gave that a mention, to be honest. And Miss Usual says, Mr. Lounge, it was the ref's first game in the Prem. Yeah, his debut. To have the courage of his convictions to basically go against VAR and say I'm sticking with it, which actually I thought was the right decision for me as well. I don't think it was handball. So Hammer says, Tony says even Pepsi praised it, or even Pep praised it. Sorry. Where it says, "Come on, West Ham, beat Chelsea for Coco." Yeah, well, for anyone, every West Ham fan. He said he will be remembered for it. Yeah, no, fair play to him. can't read that, Harry. Let me get my other glasses on. I haven't had to do this for a while. Akpata's goal was the best goal this weekend. I don't know. I don't think I've seen that. And Fresh is saying the women's also got a banger as well. And now I have caught up with the comments, just about anyway. Usual says the new Chelsea manager is more Will Mackenzie than Will Mackenzie. Anyway, guys, I've caught up. Yeah, and there's a throwback in time. Just remember, you still have them glasses on your head, Jeff. I know. I did a whole show with them on there. Tuck says, thank you, Jeff. Enjoyed the show and the chat. Thanks to all of you guys for staying with us. I can't believe we're coming up to 2 hours. I really am going to have to go. But I really appreciate you all being here and getting involved. And yeah, it makes it even harder when there's more of you in the chat to keep up with it. But I'm not complaining. I really appreciate it. Anyone who's popped in or is watching, if you've not subbed, please do give us a subscribe. Get involved in those walk and talk with Coco videos. I'm quite enjoying doing them. So I'll do a few more. But it'd be nice if you get a few comments in, because I don't do those live. And hopefully I'll see you all next week. Until then, thanks a lot. Come on, you Irons.
1-0 to the Cockney boys, 1-0 to the Cockney boys, 1-0 to the Cockney boys, 1-0 to the Cockney boys.